All right. So tell me about this kitchen.
Well, it's called Bremen Towne, and it's a recreation of the kitchen I grew up in southwest suburban Illinois, circa 1971. Pretty much everything in here has been remade, or some of it's been made from scratch, or like in the case of the appliances, these were old appliances that were restored, re-chromed, things like that. But there's other aspects, like the flooring, for instance. Started off, I took a sample of from the house that my parents were able to get of this vinyl asbestos tile. That was scanned, and then I worked with the company with making laser etching it, and then recreating this like pebble texture and making it on recreating the tile from that original sample. I basically to make it, I worked off of family photographs, and then ended up doing things like getting the decades Sears and JCPenney's catalog to identify products and that kind of thing. Trying to again be as faithful to the original house as possible.
Have your parents seen it?
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
What did they think?
They loved it, but at the same token, they were able to kind of pick out things that I got wrong, which is kind of interesting. Because they probably had, since I was just a kid when we were in the house, their memory of it was probably stronger. They were actually, involved with installing a lot of this stuff. So something like that faucet, there's a couple of details on that aren't true to the home, but in some ways I kind of almost consider this I don't know how long it's going to be a work in progress, but each installation there's some things that I add these details. There's kind of if you want to see something that's kind of, you really have to only know it's there, but on the chairs, had reprinted the instructions for how to assemble this table and chair set, and again, this was from an original chair that this whole thing was recreated and put on the bottom of the chairs like they would have from that era. So, but it's kind of something that's there, and probably never would know is there. But that's the other thing. Is like I really like that idea of realness and authenticity was really important to me. That it didn't just come off as, say, like a set or something,
Well, and it would seem to me that this is also sort of a way of exploring both your own childhood and your relation to it by getting physically involved in remaking it,
Sure.
retouching it, recreating it.
Yeah. And I would say the kind of the strongest thing coming, both. I have to say it's interesting that people that see it as viewers or experience it in the context of a museum. This wasn't something I was aware of in the making of it, but they come to it with their own. If they're from my generation, my parents' generation, or had grandparents that might have had a house very similar to this, which was something I was kind of interested in. And especially since it's recreated to look like it did when my parents first moved into the house. It's not really lived in. So in that way, it is kind of almost, it can become this vessel for one's own memory. But I would have to say also the idea of rebuilding this, and again, this is a segment of I also recreated the other rooms in the house. But I have to say the process of doing this, it's kind of, my memory now of the house is now almost entirely about this reconstruction. This is the fourth time now it's been reinstalled, so each time it kind of almost takes on another layer of the history of where it was beforehand. And also the people that are, there's now a couple of people that have helped me install it in several venues, and they've already have their own kind of memories of it. So that's kind of been an interesting thing. It has taken on its own history in a way, past the source. Yeah.